There's a lot to consider when it comes to the newest Keqing's banner, and these are the 5 main reasons to help you decide. Probably the first featured character that everyone has set their sights on would be Benny Boy, and it's definitely interesting to see this unlucky adventurer make a return so fast since we've already seen him show up initially during Albedo's Wish event period. And there's been a lot of talks lately, or at least voiced opinions from the community, that Bennett along with other characters on this banner are the saving grace and true motivation for people to actually bother going into Summoning Frenzy, since one of the biggest ways gacha games convince you to pull for your favorite characters is a little tactical move called FOMO, or fear of missing out. And unlike any other banner we have seen so far, Keqing is the first one to not feature any of the new 5-star characters, which means there's really no incentive other than to give a boosted chance of a pre-existing character that can be found on the standard banner. But it doesn't mean this is still a bad wish event to go for, since a lot of players come and go, and obviously for someone who has been playing since the launch of the game, probably even managed to grab Benny from Star Glitter Shop back when he was first available, and then basically the biggest second reason why you want to obtain him once more would be to unlock his first constellation. And the beauty of this comes as a double-edged sword, since all you really need for Bennett is his first constellation to take care of that wear conditional check where your teammates no longer need to have certain health threshold in order to benefit from the burst's attack boost. But on the other hand, any further constellations you obtain are great, but not that amazing if you want to get the best bang for your Primo Gem. Of course, you do get a higher attack bonus ratio if you unlock his 5th constellation to upgrade the talents by 3 levels, but outside of that, he functions really well with just a single upgrade. And then there's the thing with his final constellation, where it will infuse your melee attacks with Pyro, which puts a limit on his team building capabilities, just like you would have a similar situation with Chongyin's elemental skill. So unless you're absolutely dedicated to use Benny for Pyro team compositions and want to maximize his final constellation, it's better to not even activate it unless you're absolutely ready to live with this choice, which is kind of a bit of a struggle for those who do not fully weigh their options, and it would be great to see MiHoYo add the option to turn on and off certain constellations for characters, which would make the game more user-friendly. Either way, this unlucky adventurer has a sweet spot of needing just one constellation to make the best use of him, and he's definitely one of the biggest selling points of this banner. If there's one character that's a bit underwhelming, then it would be Barbara, even if we do love her with all our hearts. But the fact that she fills the niche of a healer and her constellations aren't really important, it's going to be a hard decision for some who really just want to upgrade their team's damage output by summoning on Keqing's banner. And the main reason why Barbara is a character that puts a damper on this banner would be the fact that we have seen her so much during various opportunities that even the newbies who joined the game still have a chance of obtaining her just by simply reaching a certain adventure rank. And just to make things clear, she's definitely an excellent character to use, especially when you're going through mid to late game where farming domains becomes tedious from the amount of times you need to keep healing and reviving everyone. So having a dedicated healer is an awesome way of saving your time and resources, and she's also amazing on certain floors of the Abyss, not to mention she also brings her healing utility when you're lacking having good survivability with the rest of your team. So even after making an appearance on Venti's banner as a featured 4-star, then given away as a reward for those who level up their adventure ranks before 1.1 update, and even more opportunities like Star Glitter Shop. Basically, there's been plenty of times where we could unlock her, or even get a lot of her constellations, so it's not in a lot of players' interests to get more copies of her, unless of course, you want to have her talents increased, but even then, there's a certain threshold where you can get plenty of healing just from a combination of few artifact sets. And if you want to see optimal builds for healers like Barbara, make sure to follow us on Twitter, link in the description. So in short, Barbara is an excellent healer that unfortunately has been given away for far too many times, and there isn't much enthusiasm or motivation when it comes to obtaining her, even if you're a new player who can still get her for free and are more interested in unlocking newer characters instead. When you heard there's Benny and then one other character that redeems the qualities of this banner, then you probably already knew it would be the head honcho of the US business. And probably the biggest difference when it comes to comparing the constellation values between Bennett and Ningguang would be the fact that she actually gets plenty more value out of it, not to mention since her only goal is to act as your main damage dealer, so even getting the 3rd and 5th constellations to improve her talents is a big win in making her stronger, not to mention even something as little as her first constellation completely transforms her damage output by letting you now deal AoE damage with her normal attacks. And the only least exciting constellation you can unlock for her would be the 4th one, which pretty much gives a useless buff that increases your elemental resistance by 10%, which as of now holds absolutely no relevance for the endgame content, and this hopefully becomes more important once we start seeing content that doesn't put focus on just dealing damage, but also surviving or using other means of beating challenges. Now obviously, for those who only like to collect characters, there is also Stand By Me event, which is going to coexist together with the banner, and you might not even want to summon for her, since it's still a random chance, and you could instead rely on the guaranteed event reward if you decide not to pick any other character. And let's not forget that Geo got a massive buff for its resonance bonus, and that Ningguang is one scary damage dealer, so this should hopefully give you enough evidence if you want to pursue this banner or not. This is the first time we have seen a 5-star make an appearance, with its very own dedicated banner as a wish event, and it's definitely interesting to see that miHoYo has chosen Keqing to be one of the first characters to come out of the standard banner and into the hands of many players who seek to obtain her. Obviously, the decision here is pretty clear, since this is happening during the Lantern Rites event, which indirectly celebrates the Chinese New Year, and there's no better choice than to have someone from Liyue to represent the 5-star banner. Now, besides the festive mood, the question remains whether it's worth pursuing the Lightning Queen or instead evaluate our options and come to the brutal honesty that there is no fear of missing out element from this banner. Not to mention there's the ongoing hype for the third mystery banner, which is due to show up once this one ends. And looking back on everything, there's always that chance of pulling someone on the 50-50 odds when you're doing a 5-star pity summon, which then of course advances to the guaranteed pity of the featured character. But the constant shifting between a guarantee and a chance is a tough one to mitigate, especially for those who are free to play or casual spenders. And with the way things are going, probably the best decision would be to look through your summon history and determine how far away you are from the pity summon. And if you see you're still not that close, you can easily go for the 4 stars that interest you like Bennett or Ningguang, but it's still a gamble and you could randomly summon a 5-star, so if you don't like to play even with minimal risk, it's better to probably then make a decision based on your own character roster or training and then set your priorities straight. In essence, Keqing's banner really feels like it's in a weird situation right now, and while it does provide powerful 4-star characters, it can't help but feel miHoYo should have added more ways to incentivize the summon, but this will remain a mystery and will probably also be the first time the developers will learn how the player base reacts to these kinds of banners, and maybe in the future, they will come up with a different solution instead. Even with all things considered, there's still the option of simply waiting out to see who exactly is going to be on the third mystery banner, which is going to be a direct follow-up after this one ends. But it is quite obvious that because of the way our psychology works, it's always hard to resist the temptation and start summoning as fast as possible when the new character drops, so maybe this will be the first time we can exercise caution and wait until we see and weigh our options between the two banners, provided that miHoYo will reveal the details of the next one before the current one ends. But to summarize, out of all the characters in the banner, Bennett is definitely one of the top choices, especially if you're still missing out on obtaining his first constellation, which lets you bypass the requirements of his very beneficial burst. Then there's Barbara, who we have seen far too many times in the game, and even for beginners, she's still available for free, so it's really a matter of a question if you want her constellations or simply want to support her singing career. And if you want to have the strongest geo damage dealer by your side, Ningguang will lend you your hand, and you will even get to enjoy every one of her constellations but one by getting a nice upgrade to her damage output. Finally, Keqing herself is definitely the top choice for many who are interested to have a 5-star Electro character, but at the same time, she is in a very weird spot right now because of many upcoming banners and the fact that she can be obtained even randomly as a pity from other featured characters since she belongs to the standard character pool. Let us know in the comments if you're going to be summoning from this newest banner and why. Also, don't forget to subscribe by hitting the bell notification on and gently pressing the like button. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, where all the latest details about Genshin get shared. Thank you for watching us.